Hey guys, I just thought I'd do this real quickly, kind of give my thoughts on something that happened, and it shouldn't really be much of a surprise, I guess, to wrestling fans at all. And that is, it was reported yesterday that Royal Rumble Axxess is kind of like WrestleMania Access. You know, you get to meet and greet the superstars and all that, get autographs and whatever. Well, the Royal Rumble basically Axxess in general, like I said, allows you to meet and greet superstars during different panels, during different times. And it seems that Becky Lynch, who is one of the hottest acts they got right now, basically her panel at Royal Rumble Axxess sold out in 60 seconds. And even Becky Lynch herself acknowledged this on Twitter. And this has to obviously send a message to WWE that they got something here and they cannot try to stifle it. They cannot try to stifle this momentum they have. And whether or not they have Becky keep her championship after TLC or they don't, they can't stifle the fact that she is red hot right now. And this does put them into a bind, because they probably have numerous names they want to win the women's Royal Rumble match in January. They probably have numerous names they're tossing around. One of them, of course, could be Charlotte, and the other right now, if what people are predicting could happen at TLC, and that's Becky losing her championship, Becky Lynch is another. Now, of course, you have Asuka as a possible favorite. Ember Moon has been put in there. Nia Jax, of course. Tamina, you name it. And even some women from NXT like Bianca Belair or Sonya Deville. Not Sonya Deville. Well, yeah, Sonya Deville could be a favorite if they build her up correctly. But Shayna Baszler. You know, women like that. Even some of the women from NXT UK like Toni Storm. You know, Rhea Ripley, names like that could all be brought in and be considered as favorites, especially with the momentum that they have. But this just tells me and everybody else that WWE has, like I said, basically has a hot gold mine on their hands. And this all stems apparently from Kurt Angle giving Becky Lynch some advice about trying to step out of her comfort zone and go in a direction she normally wouldn't go in, and that's what she's doing. And apparently it's working for her because people are gravitating towards her. She, let's be honest, is one of the reasons, if not one of the main reasons, with all due respect to the other superstars, that people tune into SmackDown. But the question is, why is that? Why is Becky such a huge hit with everybody? What has she done to earn this? And my honest opinion is, like I said, it's reported that Kurt Angle gave her the advice to step out of her comfort zone, and that's what she's doing. She's stepping out of her comfort zone and being what she is now, being who she is now. And what this is basically possibly her answer or her equivalent. Well, this is the way, what I'm trying to say is I think fans are taking this as basically her being the equivalent or the female equivalent of a Stone Cold Steve Austin in a PG-13 era. See, the way she's acting, it feels very familiar. It feels very similar to how Austin acted, to how Austin would buck the authority. They would say what was on their mind and didn't care what other people said. They basically back up what they say they would say that they're the better athlete, and they would back it up. They weren't afraid to get in the faces of others that they believed to be more superior or better than of. Basically, they were afraid to be realist, if you will, and being legit and basically being straight up with them. And that's what Becky has a plot, and that's how fans see Becky right now. That she's kind of like a female equivalent of Stone Cold Steve Austin for the modern PG-13 era, to where if they ever decide to one day go back to a TV-14 rating, what you're getting right now is just the tip of the iceberg. If they were to ever decide to go back to that TV-14 rating, you can amplify what she's doing now by at least 100. That's the flat out truth. I mean, they look at her as basically being, like I said, this generation's incarnation of Stone Cold and maybe a bit of CM Punk, because, like I said, those two guys, especially when given the opportunity, were never afraid to speak their minds and tell it like it is. And that's how Becky is being portrayed here. She's not afraid to tell it like it is. And fans are gravitating towards that because they sense a kindred spirit. They can relate with her. Because everything she has said that has helped make her character what it is now, this straight fire character, is real. And it resonates with a lot of us. You know, a lot of us feel we're being held down because of other people, because other people might know other people, because of people's lineages and, you know, legacies and stuff like that, or connections to the business. And people like us that don't have that are always going to be kept in the back until they feel they have, you know, further use of us. Or they feel that, hey, let's give that person a chance, and if it don't work out, we'll just go back to that person. You know, and that's the same with everyday life, especially in jobs. You know, you could be, you know, one of the more experienced people in a company, a store, retail, or whatever, and pretty much believe that, hey, I could probably be, you know, this individual. I could probably be, you know, I could probably help run things, you know, in a similar position as those above me if given the opportunity. But then yet, you have those that come in via transfers or being hired, and all of a sudden, before you know it, they end up in the position that you're hoping for, maybe either because they know the people or maybe they have experience. We don't know. And you feel kind of left out in the cold. You feel overlooked. And that's why people are gravitating to Becky, because she represents all of us, just like Stone Cold represented all of us. Just like CM Punk, in a sense, represented all of us. They basically represented the real man and woman that gets held down and overlooked. And that's why people gravitate towards her. Because when she comes out and shoots about the fact that it's always been about Charlotte, it's always been about this individual, and this is why women like her were always held down, she's speaking the truth, and people can relate and gravitate towards that because it resonates, like I said earlier, with a lot of people from a very real standpoint. So it's no wonder Becky Lynch has gone on to become one of the hottest acts there is, because she tells it like it is. That's her straight fire. I mean, let's be honest, the straight fire moniker she has right now, it's not just a gimmick, it's a way of life for her. It's a realistic, very true to life way of life for her. It's basically a true to life thing for her. That's what I'm trying to say. It's very true to life for her. She's basically being straight fire. She's telling it like it is, and she's doing a heck of a job for a character that you would think shouldn't really be working that well, especially in a PG-13 era, but she is. So overall, it's not surprising that all of this has made her the hottest act in WWE, bar none right now, with all due respect to everybody else. And it's no wonder why fans have sold out her Axxess panel faster than anybody else's, because they can relate with her. They can resonate with her in everything she says. So WWE is going to have a real dilemma on their hands going into the Royal Rumble. Because whether or not Becky still has that championship, and if she does, hey, she can make history by becoming the first champion, current champion, to enter the Rumble and try to win it, if not win it, period, and then challenge the other champion for a title versus title, which would be great. They can end up doing that. But either way, WWE cannot deny what they have here now, and they cannot deny the fact that they got to put Becky Lynch right at the very top of favorites to enter the Women's Royal Rumble match and win it. People are speculating that she could be the one not only to win it, but from a story perspective, if not legit, realistic perspective, the way she wins it and the best way to give her that storybook ending to go into WrestleMania, or at least continue her journey into WrestleMania, is to have her eliminate Nia Jax and then go on to WrestleMania, have a great match with, let's say, Ronda Rousey, and win the championship there, if not unify the championships as they decide to go champion versus champion. It makes sense. And people want that, and WWE knows this, and especially now after the fact that they're probably hearing or realize and seeing that her Axxess panel sold out faster than anybody else's in less than a minute or so. It's basically WWE's call. Oh, do they continue the momentum? Do they work with this momentum and let this woman ride it into the main event of WrestleMania? Did they let her close out TLC in 2 weeks in the main event, in the closing match of the night, victorious, and continue the momentum? I think they have to. I think they have no choice right now. They are in a dilemma where they have no choice, where fans want to see this woman because they can resonate with her, they can relate with her, because everything she's telling is coming out as truthful and very relatable and realistic. And they can relate and gravitate towards that from their own personal experiences. So, is it any surprise, though, in the end, that Becky Lynch has gotten further proof that she's one of the hottest things going in WWE right now? No, not really, when you think about it. Because basically she is the Stone Cold Steve Austin equivalent from a female perspective for the PG-13 era. And like I said, if they ever decide to go back to TV-14, what you're getting right now is just the tip of the iceberg. So, that's really all I'm going to say on it. Congratulations to Becky for selling out her Royal Rumble Axxess and probably faster than anyone can imagine. And WWE, you have no choice now. Looks like you got a little bit of a straight fire dilemma on your hands. You got to ask yourself now, World Wrestling Entertainment, what you're going to do now that straight fire is coming at you. Ask yourself that. Let me know what you guys think down below. Talk to y'all later.